Good evening, my viewers. This is George Ondek, and this is a change in my show. Tonight is the end of an era. I've been filming for years at the Yorktown Cablevision studio, and it will no longer be open. I will be transferring my show over to Peekskill, but I have very fond memories and very great guests over the years. I've been doing this show for about a dozen years now, and I've shot probably over 500 shows. It's been a very interesting time. It's not goodbye, it's just I will see you again a week from now from Peekskill. The show will continue, but I have very fond memories of the show I've been doing, the George Ondek Show, and very fond memories of some of the guests. During the years that I've been on, we've done such things as I've flown an airplane with a good friend of mine, Bob Kardash. I've interviewed people on Box-a-rama with my good friend Steve Acunto, who's the head of a boxing organization, AAIG, I believe it is, and met people such as Larry Holmes, the former champion of the world in boxing, George Chivulo, the Canadian heavyweight champion, and Carmen Basilio. And there's been various shows where I've had politicians on. I have fond memories of our county executive, Rob Astorino, and I remember when he did a public access show such as the one you're seeing me do tonight. I've had people on such as Governor George Pataki, Linda Puglisi, the Yorktown town supervisor, State Senator Greg Ball, Sandy Galiff, our fine legislator from the Assembly from Ossining, and many people. One of my fondest memories is also of working out. Of course, I could have done a little more, still could shed a few pounds, with Sandra Savino, a fine fitness person. I'm very humbled by the fact that I once had Donald Trump on the show, and I'm very honored that he fired me during the show. It was at a ribbon-cutting ceremony in Shrub Oak where Trump Senior Residences opened. And I would be very remiss if I didn't mention Doug Ferony, Peekskill's finest. He's a singer. He goes on world tours now to islands with people such as Bobby Rydell, Bobby Vinton, and people such as that. But I would like to show you clips of some of these shows, and I may do 2 or 3 of these best of George Ondek shows from over the years. Right now, I also had people on from something called Paws of Love. Now, I don't want any of you get the wrong idea on that. That's P-A-W-S of Love, which was a pet adoption agency, and we had 1 or 2 cats on, and a half hour after the show that was over, they were adopted. So I think that was one of my finest hours. And I'd like to go to the videotape on that now. As a great person, Warner Wolf, said, to show you a little bit of that. Scott Finnis, my director for many years, can we go to the videotape? So what do you think would be a good name for this beautiful black kitten that you have right now?
Giorgio.
Giorgio?
Giorgio, after
That
George.
sounds original. Sounds like an Italian name.
Well, and he also will be going to PetSmart. We hold adoptions at PetSmart every Sunday from 11:30 to 2:30. So, and that's where we bring the cats and kittens for adoption. It's the one in Cortland Town Center.
Right, that's right up on Route 6 in Cortland, right?
Right. So PetSmart gives us a spot there on Sundays, and we bring our adoptable cats and kittens there.
Now tell me, is it a non-for-profit organization?
All volunteer.
Who is the president or director of it?
Terry Portis is our executive director. She's been in animal rescue for many years, but this is her first venture on her own where she started the group.
I understand she's a wonderful person.
Yeah.
I got to know about her through a good friend of mine, Rich Carey from Peekskill, who has 9 cats and 3 parrots, and said she was a wonderful person who was looking to get homeless cats adopted.
Right.
So is that the goal of the organization?
Oh, to get them adopted and to spay-neuter.
To spay-neuter.
Right. There's a lot of cats, unadoptable cats, what people refer to as ferals, that are kind of born outside, really haven't been touched by people, and are just very afraid.
Is a feral, and what does that mean, feral cat?
Feral means it's never had any human contact. The only thing it gets from humans is food.
Oh, little Giorgio is meowing at you there.
I know.
He looks so cute.
He's purring up a storm.
People don't know this about me, but I'm a cat lover. We presently have a cat at home named Phantom that we've had for 6 years. He's a calico cat with a black mask across his face, and that's how we came to name him Phantom. We also had a cat for 18 years, my wife and I, named Freddie, who looked like Sylvester on Sylvester and Tweety, the cartoons.
That's a great.
And the saddest day of my life was when we had to put him to sleep, because he was very sick and very old.
Right.
But getting back to the organization, so you get these kittens and cats adopted?
Right.
Is that the mission of the...
Oh, yes, Ed. To get them adopted and to make sure every cat that comes into our group is spayed and neutered. And we try to assist people who are feeding what I refer to as feral cats, cats that really are not adoptable, just because you feel compassion for him. Ow.
What's he doing there? Is he having a little nibble on your fingers?
Yeah. Because
and he's actually nibbling on the microphone from what I hear from my producer.
He's got a lot of personality, little Giorgio.
Giorgio.
Yeah.
That was a great tape. Now I'd like to take you of my workouts with that great workout person, Sandra Savino. It was a few years back. She runs a fitness studio, I think, in Scarsdale, and teaches people how to stay fit. And I think you will enjoy a few minutes of me working out in my younger days. Can you do an exercise or two more to help me tone up? Is there something that you know?
Can I ask you something?
Yes.
Are there possibly people in your audience that might be thinking about other areas of their body besides just the midriff area? There are a couple of basic things that you can do that are very easy that you can do around the house without even joining a gym. Clearly, my suggestion is to get to a gym and let the professionals help you, but I can show you a few exercises to do at home.
Okay.
Excuse me. One of them is called the lateral raise. Again, we're standing with feet shoulder width apart, toes pointed forward, knees slightly bent, and hips tucked. What you can do, believe it or not, ladies, you can grab, or men, you can grab a couple of soup cans that weigh the same amount, 1 pound soup cans, and you can just lift slowly to the side and lower slowly. You can also do this without any weight at all. Lift slowly, exhaling, and inhaling. This is wonderful for the deltoids, the shoulder area. Another wonderful exercise, I always hear women complain about the back of their arms, how it sags.
Yes.
Over time, yes, it will, but you can actually help to improve that if it's already happened and help prevent it if it hasn't happened yet. We tend to sag here. The tricep area is a very important muscle group to work. One exercise is to stand slightly apart, both knees slightly bent. The left hand is on the left leg for back support. You bend your back slightly over. In order to work all 3 tips of the tricep muscle group, you must extend both the elbow and the shoulder. So you would lift the shoulder and then extend at the elbow. Lift and extend, and again you exhale as you push out, inhale as you come in. Now your abdominals are contracted, your gluteus muscles are tight. Those are your buttocks muscles in case you don't know. And you exhale and bring it in. And that's another great one. That's another wonderful exercise. And then one of my other favorites is for the biceps. And it's really, really basic. And again, ladies, you can, or gentlemen, I work in an all-women's club, forgive me. You can grab the 1 pound weights and you can just do a basic bicep curl and squeeze and lift. Squeeze and lift. Now to get to the legs, and again, exhale as you lift. The sets remain the same. It's always starting out with a few and increasing as you go along. Starting out with 8 to 10, maybe 2 sets, going to 3 to 4 sets, maybe 10 to 15 reps. You can also work the lower body for anybody that's interested in that. A lot of women come to the gym and tell me, some women tell me, I want to lose my butt, and others tell me, I want to gain a butt. So that's the area of the body that we call the gluteus muscles. So I'm going to show you a couple of different exercises.
Okay, great.
Okay, the squat, for example, is an exercise that will tend to build the larger gluteus muscle, the gluteus maximus. It also does work the medius to a degree, but it will tend to build a larger muscle. What we suggest, especially if you have back problems, is to support your back with your hands. Your toes are pointed directly forward and your feet are shoulder width apart. You're going to extend out over your knees, now if you don't have a knee or back problem, and you're going to try and come to approximately a 90-degree angle and then lift. Okay, now the exhale is against gravity on this one.
How many repetitions should you do with that one?
Again, you're doing 8 to 10 reps, 2 to 3 sets, building up to 10 to 15 reps, 3 to 4 sets. Okay? So you have to go at your own pace. If you feel that you can only do 4 or 5, fine, but we do want you to push yourself a little bit. I have one more exercise for you that the women will, that everyone will love. This one is for the outer thigh and buttocks and inner thigh as well. So it's wonderful. It works the abductors and adductors, which are inner thighs, and the gluteus muscles, the buttocks. It's very simple. You can just stand leaning on a pillar or something of that sort and lift your leg out to the side for outer thigh after you've done 10 of those. Right? You want to try that? Try it. You need a little balance there. Good. Whoa. Okay. See, it takes time. That's why I said grab a broomstick or something if you're at home. Okay. And you can also, so going out to the side works the outer thigh. Then for the buttocks, you can work up for the gluteus muscles. This concentrates a little bit more on the rear.
I need a little work in the gluteus area.
Keep your back up straight and your abdominals contracted. And then we have another exercise for inner thighs that you can also do standing, and that is just to stand and lift up to the side and back. Up to the side and back. And again, it's exhale on the contraction, inhale on the negative, which is the easier part. The contraction is the hardest part of the exercise. Okay? And back is always straight, abdominals tight.
From what I hear, one of the hardest parts is getting started. Is it good to join, let's say, a club such as yours with a buddy or a friend to motivate you?
It's great. It's great if you can. But the bottom line is you're doing this for you. And if you can't get somebody to come with you, you really have to get out and take the initiative and let your friends follow your example.
5, 4, 3.
And we also had, as I mentioned before, Box-a-rama. I did a show for them recently where they featured heavyweight champions. One of them was George Chivulo, the Canadian heavyweight champion who fought some of our greatest. I think he fought Larry Holmes and a few other people. I also, as I said, I met quite a few people there. One of the people who was on the executive board was Steve Acunto, who was the head of it, and Eddie Doyle, the fine union leader from Westchester County, who's in charge of building trades throughout the county. And I also met Ralph Martinelli, the ex-mayor of Yonkers, and they were honored at a celebration at the Crown Plaza in White Plains. Scott, can you go to the videotape of a little tape of that celebration? I'm at the Boxorama in Crown Plaza in White Plains, New York, 2011. This is the George Ondek Show, and I have a young-time boxer with me. Sir, would you like to tell us your name?
My name is George Chivulo.
George Chivulo. I like that first name.
Yeah, good
First
name. Good
Good
You
name.
must have been a cute baby, huh? You
Well,
must have been a cute baby.
and you too, to get a first name
natural,
George. My
natural.
father's name was George. My son's name is George. And you knew my uncle Gus Lesnovich very well.
I know
Well, you heard of him.
quite a bit about him. He was a great champion, a light heavyweight champion back in, I believe, the 40s and maybe early 50s. I'm not sure, but certainly in the 40s.
Right. How many fights did you fight, my friend?
I had 97 pro fights. The record book has me listed at 93, but it's really 97 anyway. And I fought most of the top guys around. The only guy I missed was Sonny Liston, and when I signed to fight Sonny, he was already dead a week.
Were you the Canadian heavyweight champ?
I was the Canadian heavyweight champ for about 21 years.
Wow, that's tremendous. Who'd you think was the greatest boxer you fought?
Well, I guess Muhammad was probably the greatest boxer I fought.
Really?
I've had trouble with a few guys, and I had a little trouble with him, but I did okay in the second fight with him. But my first fight, I took on 17 days' notice. It was a little bit of, it was really short notice, but it was a 15-round fight, tough fight. But and they say to me, "Hey, George, you lost the fight." Yeah. I say, "But guess who went to the hospital after the fight with bleeding kidneys? And guess who went dancing with his wife?" Muhammad went to St. Mike's Hospital in Toronto, and I went dancing with my wife.
By the way,
I knew what I said to my wife when I was
What?
dancing with her. I should have danced more in the fight. I would have been better
you
off.
could have learned a little bit from Muhammad Ali. He was a pretty good dancer, wasn't he?
Yes,
as well as a
yes, he
fighter?
was. Apparently, he was. Yeah.
I understand you know a little bit of French. You want to give a nice French greeting, Canadian, to my loyal Westchester audience?
Well, my French is limited to grade 11 French in school. But I
How
can
about
say,
parlez-vous français?
parlez-vous français? Je parle français un peu. Bonjour pour mes amis des Français canadiens.
Okay, Mr. Chivulo was very honored to be interviewing you today on the local George Ondek show. But I got to you got a good grip for a guy who's 39. Like, how about the bolo punch? Is that a pretty good one?
Kid Gavilan.
You remember him?
You remember him too?
How about the onion farmer from Canastota, New York? Do you remember
My
him?
buddy Carmen. Yeah, he's a good friend of mine.
Carmen Basilio.
Yeah, a good tough guy. He was a great welterweight champion and also middleweight champion.
Do you remember Willie Pep?
Do I remember Willie Pep? Willie was a great guy, a good friend of mine, and I used to see him at the Hall of Fame all the time in Canastota, New York, and we all miss him. He was a great guy.
Yeah. Okay, once again, I want to thank you very much, Mr. Chivulo. It was great interviewing you
Nice
today.
to be nice to be interviewed by another George.
And
like I said, you must have been a cute baby.
And we got it. And you were the most handsome baby.
Wow. That's what my mother used to say.
Okay, thank you very much, my friend.
Nice to see you, George.
I'm now with Larry Barnes.
Yes.
From Mount Vernon,
New York. Yes.
next to my old home city of Yonkers, New
Yes,
York.
yes.
And Larry, you were quite a fighter in your day, right?
Yes, at one time I was the #1 contender in the world by all 2 governing bodies, and I was a North American welterweight champ, and I was a former WBO welterweight champ.
Really?
Yes, and now I'm just helping kids box out at Mount Vernon, New York.
For the boys' club? Or?
No, the Mount Vernon Dole Center.
Uh-huh. Do you know Steve Acunto pretty good?
Very well, and Steve asked me to come here tonight, Mr.
Yeah.
Acunto. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And what do you think about boxing today?
I think the athletes are more bigger, more faster,
Right.
and they're more agile. I'd like to see them fight a little more. You know, none of this 2-3 fights a year. More 4 or 5 fights a year that really show that you're a true champion.
And what do you think it is? It's mainly on HBO now,
HBO
or
pay-per-view.
on demand.
Well,
I know you don't remember the Friday night fights.
yeah, well, I do when
You're
I was a
much too
kid,
young.
as a boy. But the fighters today, it's about money today. It's
Yes.
about a lot of things that happen.
Yes.
And so they need to be more aware about what they're
Right.
doing today.
Too bad we can't get them back onto network TV,
Network
like the
TV,
Friday night
the
fights.
Friday night fights, Rango and stuff like that. The Channel 9 fights. But I really miss that, George,
So,
because
champ, how many fights did you fight as a pro?
I had 48 professional fights as a pro. I was 44 wins, 3 losses, no contest.
Wow, that's a darn
Yes.
good record.
With
man.
17 knockouts.
And I'm very proud of you as a Westchester boxer.
Thank you so
and
much
thank
for
you
having
for
me.
being on the George Ondek show tonight
Thank you.
and part of Boxorama in Crown Plaza in White Plains, New York.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, buddy.
5, 4, 3.
And I would be remiss, again, as I said before, one of my finest hours was when I had several times on a neighboring person from Peekskill, New York, a world-famous singer with the sounds of Sinatra. I'll call him Doug Ferony. I've seen him all over the world. I've seen him on a cruise down to the Caribbean. I've also seen him at a couple of the casinos where he was a featured singer, and he does nice work even singing for people in nursing homes who are recovering from ailments and just to be nice to people who are of older age. I may close the show with Doug. It probably should be Thanks for the Memories, but I will have a song or two from Doug Ferony on this videotape as well. Scott Finnis, once again, when we go to the videotape, and as I said before, you've appeared at quite a few places, Tavern on the Green.
Yes, yeah.
One of your specialties is Sounds of Sinatra. And the other night at that grand opening, I heard one of your songs, and you didn't know that I knew this song.
Right, right.
I was at GI 26 years old, going to Vietnam, and my wife and I had an album in those days. I'm old, an album, not a CD.
It's classic.
Frank Sinatra, A Man and His Music. And you sung a song, and I thought it was Sinatra singing again.
Well, that's an incredible album that you're talking about.
And it really, similar to My Way, it sort of gives the life of a person. Maybe it gave the life of Frank Sinatra. And I wonder if you would honor me and my audience with
Doing
when you were 17.
Sure, sure, I'd be happy.
It was a very good year.
I'll be happy to.
It was a very good year for small town girls who rode in
Soft
limousines.
summer nights, yeah, small summer.
But you do it, Doug. I'm not the singer. I'm just the MC tonight. Would you honor us with that song?
Sure, I'd be happy to. When I was 17, it was a very good year. It was a very good year for small town girls and soft summer nights. We'd hide from the lights on the village green. When I was 17,
you get these kittens and cats adopted.
Right.
Is that the mission of the?
Oh yes, to get them adopted and to make sure every cat that comes into our group is spayed and neutered.
When
we try to assist people who are feeding what I refer to as feral cats, cats that really are not adoptable.
Very good
year. Because you feel compassion for them. Ow.
What's he doing? Is he having a little nibble on your finger?
Yeah.
And he's actually nibbling on the microphone from what I hear from my producer.
He's got a lot of personality, little Giorgio.
And it came undone.
After you've done 10 of those, right, you want to try that? Try it. You need a little balance there. Good. Whoa. Okay, see, it takes time. That's why I said grab a broomstick or something if you're at home.
When I was
once again, I want to thank you very much, Mr. Chivulo. It was great interviewing you today. And we got
to be interviewed by another George.
And
like I said, you must have been a cute baby.
And we got it. And you were the most handsome baby.
A very good year
Thank you very much.
For blue-blooded girls of independent means.
we'd ride in limousines.
Mr. Trump, with a good selling point for you, it's a hop, skip, and jump from here to Trump International Golf Course. Yeah. That I was with you today. You bought.
Right, that's true. Well, it certainly is a selling point because they have an advantage in getting into Trump National Golf Club, and it certainly is an advantage, and it's very close, it's very nearby. And that includes using the health club and using the pool and using all of the amenities even beyond the golf club.
Can you hear you say once today, you're fired?
You're fired.
Days grow short. I'm in the autumn of the year.
You've always said you don't want to become a career politician.
I don't want to do this forever. And so when you're in it,
I see you more on television or some.
Why don't you get me on TV? Come on, we'll do.
Well, we got to get you on big time TV. Okay. But with that, Greg, I'm just teasing you.
I'll get on Dancing for the Stars.
And it's great that I can tease you a little bit.
Absolutely.
Normally you get an elected politician, after they're elected, you don't see them anymore.
Right.
But you're so with the people, and I think that's what's important.
You know, I've tried to limit the amount that I wear the wreath of laurel and the toga to only 3 days a week.
You don't have the smoke-colored limousine yet?
Not yet. Well,
the drivers?
I just got it. It was on back order. But.
I'm only kidding you. So I got 30 seconds left. What do you have to say to my vast audience?
God bless America. God bless you. It's an absolute pleasure to be your state senator. There are a lot of tough times. This is a great country and a great state. Let's work together. Be kind to your neighbor. Love your family. And send George a $5 check.
I don't want no checks. Don't want no payoffs. Thank you, Mr. Paul. It's been a pleasure having you. And I'll see you again next week, my viewing audience from Peekskill, New York.
Go Peekskill. Peekskill Brewery.
Right.
We'll go there one time.
Oh, Peekskill. It's a good restaurant, but we don't want to give any plugs here, Greg.
No, I didn't say that.
I know. Thank you. Have a merry once again.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks again.
God bless.
Thank you.
Good?
Yep.
We're all done. We can run off set?
I think so. And once again, I am closing out the George Ondek show in Yorktown now at the Yorktown studio. And it sort of reminds me of an old song by Bob Hope. I'd have to say thanks for the memories. This is George Ondek closing out for the last time. It's December 21st, 2011. I've been doing this show for 12 years. I want to thank all of my people who have helped me over the years. Al Trudeau was my director for many years. Currently, it's Scott Finnis who's been directing my show for the last couple of years. And I also would like to thank all the professional staff of Cablevision who helped me over the years, including the latest people, Walter and Joe from Cablevision, Yorktown. Again, my viewers, this is not goodbye. It's just see you till tomorrow, and thanks for the memories. This is George Ondek. See you next week from Peekskill, New York, my hometown. And you know, I'm thinking about that. I think I'm going to contact my good friend Doug Ferony and see if we can put a song together, Peekskill, my hometown. Once again, it's not goodbye, it's just till next time. This has been George Ondek with the George Ondek Show.